And today, right after tax season, so we're not worried about taxes right now, but we're worried about the remainder of the year and how we can use our money more effectively. So a lot of times over the pandemic, there's a lot of government incentives, government money thrown around, and everybody gets something. And now it seems to be is all gone. There isn't anything that we are looking at. The ERC is dwindling down, and now it is us, right? And looking at things we need to do, and wondering what else is there that we can claim. So today, what I am going to focus on is about your house, about your home, about you personally. So if you are earning a W-2 income and wanting to know what exactly you can do to, still live a life, but maximize whatever incentive is out there. And you heard of that Inflation Reduction Act. They call them IRA. It's kind of weird, right? It's abbreviations all over the place, but it's Inflation Reduction Act. This is put into law to help with many things, but the main thing it is helping related to our today's talk, it is using the government tool and to incentivize people to spend and to help manufacturing producing more product to help energy efficiency, and also as a result of that to reduce inflation. So let's just go on to our webinars right now. And so let me explain to you. I mean, a lot of times for me, the way I understand policies or the way I understand tax code, I would have to relate that to me myself. It's almost like I have to feel it on my skin before I can really tell the temperature, right? So, a lot of times when I introduce something in taxes, I tend to give you that background behind it, because if you don't understand why the government put that out for you, then you don't seem to have a more personal layer of understanding, just like, the hot water on your skin and you jump right away, it's too hot. So you almost need to get that on your skin before you can implement that in your life naturally. So I want you to promise me in 2023, if you are going to do anything for your home and for improvement, I want you to be aware of you should not do that without considering the incentives from the government. Yes, government money, and it's out there to help you. They give you those incentives so you can do it, right? Once you do it, you're hiring people to do it. Manufacturers produce the product for you so you can do it. So that is the chain reaction. That is the purpose of the Inflation Reduction Act. Try to reduce inflation. How to reduce inflation? Domestically, production increase. So that would help that. So all of the things we're talking about is domestic product. And they even, even for cars, they require that to be assembled in North America, right? So everything is focused on producing to help to reduce inflation. All right, a little bit of me. And today I do have a quiet following today, and you all are interested in what I'm talking about. I myself, I am the CEO and a managing partner for Community CPA, and we are a regional full-service CPA firm, which means we do tax, accounting, audit, and business consultation. We also have a legal team. So we are really a one-stop shop for medium-sized small businesses owners. All of the things we talked about, I want to make sure that this is a free webinar, so it doesn't engage a client service provider relationship. So we don't take responsibilities for what we are talking about or what you're going to be implement. If you're really interested in working with us, you can go online to book an appointment with us, or just simply become our client and let us know. And we welcome new clients. Unlike some CPA firms right now, when you call, and they will say that they don't take new clients anymore, but we We are hungry for business and we like to grow, and we know that we have the capacity to serve our clients well. All right, so Inflation Act, a lot of things in there. And just like there's so many things with President Trump right now, but let's just focus on this one. We don't care about what's going on out there with the struggles on Republican Party side, but this is the bill to fight inflation. And one of the means they put in the bill is to say that the government wants to invest in domestic energy production and manufacturing. You hear that? So basically, they are encouraging the domestic production and manufacturing to supply to all of these products so we can buy. But when we buy and we get incentives, of course, if a lot of people buy, then our manufacturer will be busy. So it will help reduce the inflation. There's many other things, but this is the key we want to talk about today. So I borrowed this picture and from www.edf.org. This is a nonprofit organization and specialized in energy, advocacy. It is promoting energy saving green planet, and really on the website, if you log in, they're asking for donations, and from $1 to whatever dollar you want to give, but they're the nonprofit organization really helping to promote the concept of green. So they draw a picture of 8 areas to talk about how this Inflation Reduction Act, it is going to help you and to get out to do that and get credit, get incentives for it. So let's go. So the first one is in your driveway. You can see that number 1 in your driveway, and maybe you already guessed what that would be. Of course, it's an electronic vehicle, right? So there is an electronic vehicle subsidy, which gives you $7,500 back, okay, tax credit. And folks, you heard my other webinars, we talk about tax credit versus tax deduction, right? They're not the same. Tax credit is offsetting your tax dollars, okay? There's 2 types of tax credit. One of those is say that even if you didn't pay taxes, I'm still gonna give you the credit. So good example would be earned income tax credit. That is the money that, the lower income families, they don't pay taxes, but they still get a bunch of tax credit. That is called earned income tax credit for low income family. So those tax credit is called refundable because as long as you calculate a number, they give you that amount. But there's non-refundable means that if you pay taxes, you get it. If you didn't even pay $7,500 taxes, you don't get it, but you don't lose it. You will carry that credit to the future. So I will give you an idea of what I mean by carry that to the future. So, but right now, right here, I want you to understand that most of the tax credit we talk about today are actually those non-refundable, which means that if you didn't pay taxes, you don't get it. You save it to the future, but you pay taxes, you don't need to pay. So for the clean vehicle, and you actually buy a vehicle, you can get $7,500 taxes back into your pocket in the year of your purchase. Okay, if you bought a used one, you get $4,000. So just know that in 2024, the Inflation Reduction Act said that they will give that clean vehicle credit to the dealers. So when you go to Tesla dealers, you bought a Tesla, and then they will say, okay, your purchase price is $800,000, but now it is only going to be $72,500 because the $7,500 tax credit we reduced it for you. So that will become a dealership kind of work, and it's not yours anymore. So I think 2023 is a good year to get it, right? So make sure that now we are looking at the driveway, right? So in the driveway, and you can have electricity, clean car, clean vehicle, and to get the tax credit. So what else? At your thermostat. So you know the thermostat at home that measures how much you use the electricity, right? So they're asking for cleaner energy. So what is cleaner energy? So electricity is cleaner than gas, right? But electricity also have a better, cleaner definition. So which is the electricity produced by wind, by water, like waterfalls and things like that, and by solar. Those are low carbon, future, cleaner energy. So the Inflation Reduction Act just basically said that, oh, look at your thermostat, and imagine, and what you have exhausted there, it is cleaner energy. So what they are wanting you to do is they want you to think of how to replace your electricity with a cleaner one. Some states already have the program, but some states are not. So really, if you are not sure whether the state has it or not, you can literally call the state Department of Energy to find out whether the states supply cleaner electricity energy. So a combination of federal and state solar program are making it possible to get a solar installed so you have at your home for cleaner energy, right? So solar panels are really just generating electricity, and in combination with your general grid program. And for example, in Iowa is Mid-America. Mid-America, they have this energy and we pay bills to them. But if you have a solar panel installed, then your bill will be reduced because you're using your solar energy. There is a thing called net metering, and the net metering is almost like the state. This is the state matter. The state will allow you to get even credit for the solar energy you supply to Mid-America, but too much, you cannot use it. Then they will give you credit back. And this net metering is not existed yet in Iowa, but in Texas, yes, there is a thing. So with that said, the Inflation Reduction Act says that if our nation can go on cleaner energy and buy their plan, and we will save, every household will save $170 to $220 a year for electricity price up and down, because our electricity is going up as always. And one study showed that went up about 20% before 2020. So it is always going up, and it's hard, especially if we come through a hard winter, and that can be very costly. But with this cleaner energy, that can ease that grid struggle. So we're talking about the grid-wide move to a cheaper and a cleaner source of electricity. Of course, a lot of jobs need to be done by those big energy company, by the state, how to work with those big energy company. But for us, for you, me individually, and you can consider solar energy to get yourself to cleaner energy. And of course, if you happen to live in the state with a lot of wind, you can literally have a windmill, on your farm, and or somewhere in your business and with your property large enough. So those are the ways they were talking about to get and promoting cleaner energy. So think in terms of what we can do, right? Individually, we can take advantage of putting on the solar panel. I will cover that. And number 3, utility room. This is also about how we use electricity. So the detail related to there's a lot of rebates going on for your household to really make it more utility efficient. Okay, so as soon as we talk about rebate, it is not the tax credit. Rebate, generally speaking, is coming from the point of sales, which means that you walk into your appliance store and you want to buy certain appliance, and there will be a rebate for you if you bought this one because it has the blue logo of energy efficiency stamp on it. So those are the things you could help with your utility bills. Examples of who gets energy efficient heat pump water heater and will be eligible for a rebate of up to $1,750. So, you're probably wondering, oh, where did the rebate come from? The rebate are coming from the government incentives to manufacturers. So the money flowing through and to the end user, so you get the rebate. And I have a link here for you to calculate what kind of saving you're gonna have if you upgrade your breaker box, okay? And maybe that is a $4,000 rebate program that you can have. So see, what I am trying to say to you is right now, if you do any home improvement, you should not considering searching on internet, figuring out what you do, whether that can get you some rebate or even state and the federal programs, right? And this next screen is actually the how I showed you the link right here. And the next screen is the calculation of how, what is the total of incentives as a household I would get. So I put in some information, household of $150,000 total income with 5 people. And, this is, the incentives I can have to upgrade my home on the energy efficiency. So it can generate total of $32,550. All right, so now I want to talk about a little bit in details with the 25C and 25D tax credit. Again, it is a tax credit, okay? This is not a rebate. Tax credit can come in as refundable, non-refundable, and most of our tax credit related to Inflation Reduction Act are non-refundable tax credit, which means that if you didn't pay taxes, you don't get it. You get it when you pay taxes, but you also don't lose it. It's just gonna be there for you for next year. So now in 25C tax credit provides household tax credit for electrical panel, okay, capped at $600 per year. The credit reset each tax year, effectively becoming available again for additional projects and winterization project, folks. And if you are living in the whole home and you decided to winterization your property, put in more small, what do you call the foam thing? There shows my English is a second language. I don't remember insulation. So those the pink fluffy stuff that you put between your walls. And those are the things you can report on your tax forms. And then it will give you the credit. It's capped at $1,200 per year. Heat pumps, okay, water heaters. So one that can be claimed on your tax form as well. But remember, we are talking about federal tax forms, folks. All right. Right now, this 25C tax credit, 25D tax credit is federal. I know a lot of you kind of just not clear. It's so kind of messed up. Tax credit, rebate. Remember, rebate normally come from the vendors who sell things to you. Credit, tax credit coming from government. And tax credit can be a federal credit, can be the state credit. If your state government give you tax rebate, give you a tax credit back with income tax, right? But there's also tax refund or agreement to not increase your property tax that's related to the property tax, sales tax. Those are also incentives, right? But they're not exactly the tax credit we are talking about here. The tax credit we are talking about here is income tax credit. and it is non-refundable. So these are all federal ones. So 25D tax credit, see the C and D, they don't come combined. You have C or D, but you cannot claim both. So provide household 30% of uncapped tax credit for electricity panel upgrade related to solar panel on the rooftop. So, when you put in the solar panels on the rooftop, you are going to have to redo your electrical panel. Okay, so that becomes part of thing, but just know that it is actually a credit that you can all the way go into your house for electrical panel upgrade. And on top of that, of course, is a solar panel rooftop solar upgrade. All right, so 25C covers small items, 25D covers big item, right? All right, so number 4, in the kitchen. So what's in the kitchen? In the kitchen, you may have that stove top, the cooktop, and those have a rebate as well. If you replace your stovetop, you should ask your vendor to see whether they have $840 rebate for you, right? So those are the things we want you to know. That's also in the act, in the Inflation Reduction Act, because the government is giving incentives to manufacturers. So you should, as a consumer, you end up with that. So upgrade your stove and appliances, knowing that you can have a rebate. In the insulations, of course, number 5, if you follow the map, and it's kind of like give you that wall right there, right? Insulation, yes. The insulation is also winterization part of the credit. We talked about up to 1,200. So really, if you already spending a lot of energy bills in the winter and you're complaining about the cold wind is even coming from your electricity outlet, that really happened to one of the home I stayed. I actually feel the wind coming through the electricity outlet. It's so cold, it's unbelievable. So those homes need to have winterization. So you would have a rebate for the household with moderate income, cover 50% of these costs up to $1,200. You see, I got a couple pictures here to show you what is the insulation, air sealing, and all of these things, dark sealing, and all of these belongs to winterization. Laundry room. So what is about laundry room, right? Laundry room also can have the energy efficient dryers. So we call those our regular dryers in America is just electricity, pumping electricity. And, like I wrote in here, in Europe, they have this pump dryer kind of heat pump dryer kind of concept where they send moist air through the evaporator. And so that technology takes longer, but save electricity. So if you buy dryers and you can ask for energy efficient dryers, and then they will give you that little blue logo, then you can have your rebate. Makes sense, right? So those are the things for our house. At AC unit, this is your air conditioning unit. And air conditioning use a lot of electricity. So this bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, encourages more efficient way to cool your home. So heat pump uses 5 times less energy than an air conditioner, and it can both heat and cool your home. See? So they're introducing ways for us to change the way we cool our home. So you can qualify for tax credit. Look at that. This is tax credit, $2,000 for purchase of electric heat pump. All right. For low-income household, the new law, the Inflation Reduction Act, provides a rebate up to $8,000 on installation. So that $8,000, again, rebate is normally given by the installer. So you would have a qualified installer coming in, and they would show you a $8,000 based on your income level. They can calculate to see how much of a rebate you would get. So with that said, and this here offers you to go on heat pump, a cooling system for your home. Now, the last but not the least, on the roof. See, look at the solar panel. I mean, in my neighborhood, I already start seeing solar panel, and I am actually very amazed with people who actually so quickly get on solar panel kind of concept. And let me tell you from cost standpoint, why that is so worth of doing. But I also want to offer you a piece of advice. I know there is an upfront benefit for the homeowners. You change to the solar panel, but never forget solar panel warranty guarantee period is like 25 years. So you don't want to go with solar panel business who are just brand new on the street. They say they know how to do it. 25 years, you're not going to find them. And your system is going to have issue. So you really want to make sure. That's one advice I give to everybody. When you get onto solar panel kind of work for your house, you want to nail a provider. It will be there for you. And when you sell your home, your new owner going to want to know who warranties your solar panel, because they do go bad, they go down. The efficiency on energy goes down. So maybe within 5 years, the solar panel today owner would have to upgrade solar panel. If your company still exists, then they would upgrade you with some incentives. Otherwise, you might end up with totally invested something and did not even make back your principal yet. Then now you have to invest again. Technology has really advanced so much and so fast for our lifetime, right? And I can still think of the first cell phone was as big as a brick. And now the cell phone is as small as our palm. And there's so many functions literally taking over our life, right? And have you spent hours time on your little screen? Then after that, you didn't even know what you were doing. Look at that. So technology changing our lives, technology going really fast. Solar panel, same thing. And even though they give you 25 years warranty, I mean, I would say that it is good enough if you can use it for 10 years. Then after 10 years, then you maybe upgrade with the same company. That would be worth of doing. Otherwise, you do not want to just because of today's benefit, because it is not going to cover 100% of your cost. So residential clean energy credit include in the new law, which is this Inflation Reduction Act, provides tax credit up to 30% of a household, 30% to the household that invested in solar panel. Okay, what does that mean? That means if you spend $100,000 on solar panel to get that bought, installed, functioning, your panel, your electricity panel works, everything is done, $100,000. That year, you can take 30% of that, which is $30,000, right? $30,000 as your tax reduction, tax credit. It is, I take it back, as your tax credit, not tax deduction. It is tax credit, so offset $30,000 taxes you were paying. $30,000 taxes, and the equivalent to the tax deduction of almost $800,000. Okay, so it is not apple-to-apple comparison. Don't forget about tax deduction. It is tax credit. So I will show you a form that we fill up for this credit. It's a form 5695. I'll show you the form, show you how that works, and prove to you that 30% exists. Okay, and the bill, this bill the Inflation Reduction Act is retroactively back to 2022. So don't be sad if you installed in 2022, then you were like, oh, you know, this act came out in August. I installed that in January. I don't think I qualify. No, you do. And it qualifies for January 1st, 2022. So average cost of installing a residential rooftop solar power system is about 19,000. This is nationwide number, right? So that is 30% of saving, which is 5,700. Another way of explaining the saving, it is approximately a taxable income reduction of 21,000. So it is equivalent for the government to say that, hey, you can go to a restaurant to eat for $20,000, $21,000 meal, and you can deduct out of your business 100%. So that 5,700 tax credit equals to $21,000, 100% deductible meal expense for your business. Does that make sense? Makes sense, right? The average solar powered home saves about $300 every year on electricity. The total saving for family is $9,000 over the life of the system. So really, I mean, I don't, you know, I'm not too sweat up with the 9,000 over the life of the system, but $300 saving per year, that is a solid dollars. And $5,700 tax saving, that is a solid dollars. Imagine if this year you're gonna do clean vehicle credit, that's a 7,200. You're gonna do solar credit, and that's a 5,700. I mean, you already saved over $14,000 taxes right here, okay? So now you probably goes, okay, I think I understand what you're saying, but how do I calculate my solar energy incentives, really? You know, how do I do that? I'm so confused with what the state had, what the federal have. I don't know what I do here. So let me explain that to you further, right? So first of all, you want to understand the solar energy incentives comes from two main places. Number one is federal. Number two is the state, okay? For federal government, we use Form 5695 for individual. But if you have a business, you installed windmills, or you happen to have a waterfall next to your property, and you're going to install, you're going to do electricity over there. So those kind of doing, and you will have a tax incentive as well, but the form is different. It's a Form 3468 plus Form 3800. But today, right, credit to COVID, okay? I had quite a few webinar with COVID effect. So this one I thought I would be free, but okay, another stamp on COVID impact. Okay, let's go back to IRS Form 5695. I will show you after this slide, okay? So, but when you have a plan to install solar panel, and the year you finish installing, let's say 2023, and whatever money you spend on there to get that on the rooftop, and then you have a total, right? That total amount times 30%, that is your federal income tax saving. That is how much you do not need to pay to IRS. And maybe you don't have so much taxes to pay. Maybe you say, well, Ying, I didn't even pay taxes this year. Okay, fine. Then your solar 30% of tax credit would just stay on your tax return, and you will use that next year when you make a lot of money. Okay, so that is one area for tax credit. So let's talk about state level of incentives. There is these items I give you, 1 to 5 areas. Every state can give you incentives. Not all the state choose all the areas, but I summarized there's only 5 ways the state will give you the incentives. Number 1 is income tax credit. Just like the federal, the state can say that, oh yes, I give you 30% as well. Or the state can say, no, I will give you less. So income tax credit. Of course, there are states don't even charge income tax, so that would not exist, right? So state has a choice to give you income tax credit. The state also have a choice to give you sales tax exemption. So when you installing solar panel on your rooftop, the contractor do not charge you sales tax. When you buy the solar panel from these manufacturer, they do not charge you sales tax. So sales tax could be an incentive for the dealer and for the end user, right? Property tax exemption, that can be a benefit too. So when you have a solar system on your rooftop, when you sell your house, you increase in value. And the assessor at the county can decide not to charge property tax on the increased value. So that is also an incentive. Net metering. Net metering means the net profit, the net voltage you earned from your solar system. Say, for example, you didn't use up all the energy you generated. Then the energy company will give you a credit. They will give you money back. So that's called net metering. And net metering is definitely way to go, but a lot of states not yet there, but Texas is there. Okay, so I put Texas here because they have 2 main solar panel incentives. Texas has a property tax exemption on the solar panel value for the property. And Texas also have net metering and the solar rebate. Solar rebate is when you purchase the product, there is a rebate. Like I said, rebate generally coming from the vendor. But rebate, if the vendor has a rebate and the government decided that you have to apply through them, through the government to get the rebate, that is still a refund because rebate is always cash to you. Rebate not gonna affiliate with your form, with your tax forms. Rebate is rebate. And maybe the government would give that work to a agency. So you apply the rebate, but you still have the rebate. Okay, so these are the things Texas have on the 3 areas. And with that said, you sort of, I'm really hoping that you sort of got a little clean thinking in terms of all of these credit, the big talk about solar energy and, calls we got, cold calls we got from people telling, I got a call the other day, and the guy started by saying that, do you know I can get you $34,000 free money? And I said, oh, okay. So I said, what? And he goes, you can put in solar panel and you can save $34,000. So I asked him how he calculated that. And then, it is totally not a clear calculation. After I hear him, I just got the impression that, yeah, I got some money back, but I don't know how much I spent. So those calls are really a way to tell you that there's something going on. But I hope by listening to my webinar, you now know, yes, something going on, but clearly knowing where those benefits come from. Now, let me stop sharing my webinars. So I want to lead you to the form. That's what I promised you, right? I want to show you where the form is. So that way you, how to fill up the form so you can understand how to do yours. So I'm going to end the slide here and come over to here, this form. So I have a form here. This is 5695. This is the one that I was talking about for federal government. So regardless how your state is working, you at least get the 30%. So let's say my solar energy product And this is called the qualified solar electric property cost. It is so weird, right? I mean, English is my second language. When people do forms like that, I want to kick their bottom, because solar panel, can they just make it simple? And or maybe panel is too simple words and they want to make it so sophisticated. Solar electric property, come on, solar panel, okay? So installing that $100,000, you got it? And then 30% of it, I got 30,000 in here. Then come on down here, folks, I want to show you. So 30,000 is my tax credit, but in year 2022, I only need to pay federal tax for $9,010 because I have a W-2 and they already withheld $9,010. So that is all the taxes I was paying. Look what happened to me. I will reverse that $9,010 taxes. So I carry forward, credit carry forward to 2023 of $20,990. See that? Super powerful. I mean, if you gonna upgrade your, your house anyway, and do solar energy property purchase, okay? And let me be fancier when I'm do the webinar. And so you can just literally get 30% that money back. So you may say that, oh, what if I borrow money to do that? Do I still be able to? Yes, as long as the property is yours, as long as you're the one borrowing money, right? And then you say, oh, what if I have a business I want to do that? Yes, that also happens to your business. And see on my one of the slides I was talking about, and you first need to put in the form 3468. So there it calculates, they call that investment credit. Once that calculated, you will transform that number into form 3800. And in 3800, that will give you the total credit. If you are a pass-through entity like S Corp, LLC like that, the credit will come to your 1040. All right, so I think, and we really had covered some useful information, and this is the purpose of our webinar, to just give you our what we know, and so you can definitely equip yourself with knowledges that nobody else has, and it's so scattered. And the internet offers a lot of confusion. So in terms of intellectual properties, one of the biggest one the internet offers is confusion. And then if you don't know what you search, you find the wrong stuff, and then you don't even know whether you're doing it right or wrong. Now you can rely on Community CPA. We do our homework. And not to say that we are 100% right, knowledge do update. Even if we say this way today, tomorrow it changes, then we will paddling back and goes, oh no, it is this way. So, but as long as you subscribe to our channel and stay on with what we know, and you will always be the person knows what you're doing. And be sure to get the tax credit, get the rebate, get the state level benefit for everything you do this year, next year, till 2030 for your house. All right, I welcome comments for our webinar, and thank you for coming to our spending time with me and become our client. I welcome you. Bye-bye.